Hello to all. Welcome to Divas That Care Network. I am Joyce Benning, and I will be your host for this absolutely invigorating, robust lifestyle show. I want to thank each one of our listeners that have tuned in live today and the ones that will be listening to the recording on the podcast. I am just so very grateful and thankful for each and every one of you. And you are all in for an amazing show today, as I have with me my returning diva, Lidia, Lady Epona, and her and I are going to talk about the L.O.V.E. method. Oh my, are you all in for a very special show today? Lydia, could you please introduce yourself to our listeners today?
Well, hello, Joyce and everyone. It's such an honor and pleasure to be back on your incredible show. It's always it's truly invigorating and so insightful to have these beautiful conversations. And as many friends already know, I call myself a Renaissance woman because I absolutely love all of my passions, and I don't want to choose one over the other, so I do them all, including my role as a high-performance coach, a healer, thought leader, and a horse advocate. And I bring together my 30 years of experience and wisdom into 4 pathways in my umbrella website, eponahealing.com, to help you heal, grow, and evolve as you journey towards reclaiming your sovereignty and living a centered, connected, and conscious life. And today I'd love to discuss a simple, powerful approach to coaching that I have shared with students and clients, and that can be applied to any area of your life, your business, and bonding with your horse and your animals. And I call it my L.O.V.E. method, L-O.V.E. method of coaching. And would you like me to introduce more about it?
Oh, I would love to hear more about this, and I know all the listeners would too, Lydia.
So the L.O.V.E. method stands for L is listen, O, observe, V, validate, and E, empower. And so we listen, observe, validate, and empower when we're with others. And it helps us think. So the person who is supporting others, it helps us think, act, and support and love from our own center by first connecting within ourselves, connecting with our inner power and inner knowing, and becoming very conscious of how we communicate with others, and supporting and helping them, and as we ourselves choose to become present and still within ourselves, and without being aware of not having judgment or preconceived notions of what others should do or be. And then we share and support from the place within ourselves of greater wholeness. And then as my mentor and master coach, the macrobiotic forefather, Michio Kushi, said, then we become a guide of life. And we let others, including our horses and animals, feel their response to our support, let them process what they're feeling, let them align with their true self, and then they decide on their best next step forward. And in doing this, it helps release intellect and helps others connect with their own beautiful flow state.
Oh, I love that. I love all of it. That was just beautiful, and that was just the listen part. And I love how we connect with our inner selves. So we can really, to me, you have to start within to be able to communicate with others. And you talked about that. And coming with no judgment. That is one thing I feel that the animals teach us so much, is come with no judgments and just come as you are and come in that present time and just be yourself, be your inner self, and let your heart guide you. So those were some of the things I heard you say and I took away, and I loved it. That was beautiful.
Well, I love what you're saying, too, because it's all about holding that sacred space, right, when we're helping others. And sometimes, whether it's with our horses or family or friends or colleagues in business or with clients, sometimes we have such passion and deep caring and we want the best for them so badly that sometimes it's easy to get caught up in what we would do, and what we think is best. But by centering ourselves in our own presence and then listening and observing, and then validating their experience. So when I'm with my horses, I'm constantly validating their experience. It doesn't mean rewarding behavior that is, it's not going to help them move forward, but to validate that they're trying and to validate that we're connected, and we're working together, and then to empower. And so these are the 4 steps that I have found. Yeah, 4 steps. Okay. 4 steps that I have found that are a beautiful foundation to release what we think is best for others, and let them blossom in their own way. And I've been working with the L.O.V.E method with clients and teaching my students for my whole 25 years in professional practice.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's just beautiful. And I love how you said to blossom in their own way. Because every person, every animal, they all have their uniqueness about them. And it's letting them let that light shine. Because so many times we want to handle everyone in the same way, every animal in the same way. And to me, that there is no set way. You have to learn to know that person, that animal, and let them share their uniqueness and their light with you. And that comes in on, I see, we're observing, where you observe what that light is that is shining with them and how you can maybe better help them, be it the animal or a person, to let that light shine from their inner self. So.
Oh, that is so beautiful. I love everything you've said. And yes, to observe their light and to know that every being has that light. Mm-hmm. Every being has a light to share within themselves, and how they radiate that light and share their gifts with the world is unique. There may be similarities, but it's unique. And that's what creates such a deep sense of empowerment within us when we feel secure enough to share our light and know that our purpose and passion and just by living on the earth has value, not just for ourselves, but for others. And you can see that with the horses. The horses all are here to love and to heal and to help us. But then they also have a sense of pride and feel empowered when they feel that they are sharing who they are in a way that truly supports you. And so the L.O.V.E method helps to minimize the sort of, what's the word? I guess the stress, the stressors or the tension between the horse and the human, because the horses I've always been honored to care for are really trying to connect with us and want to please us. And all animals, all our pets, are like that. And then sometimes if they feel that we're not, that we're not understanding them, they can feel that they've let us down. And I've had messages from one of my horses about that. So it's a very subtle but powerful shift to work with, in this case, let's say horses, to cultivate their own inner power and their own ability to connect with us without imposing on them. And it's a more refined relationship with our horses.
Oh, definitely. And I love how to eliminate the stress from them. And to me, that kind of comes in where you validate. You validate when they do something good. And I mean, I have one of my horses he's had a rough handling life before he came here, and there are still so many times I see those stress levels come out of him where he's jumping back to what his old habits were or what the old experiences were in his life. He has a hard time letting go of all of that. But to me, I want to show him that love and validate him when he is doing good and when he is doing what he needs to do, rather than always, I feel the whole world sometimes, they always want to find the negative in what someone or an animal did, and they forget to validate the positives that they are doing, and they only focus on the negatives. And I'm like, it is so important to me to validate those positives, even if it's a tiny baby step that they have done. It means so much to them to help eliminate that stress. I can see it in this horse's eyes. When I validate what he does good, it's almost like, he kind of like, you can hear him breathe better. It's almost like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I can let go of some of those old habits. So from what you were taking, I mean, I maybe went a little different route with it, but those were some of the things that were coming to my mind as you were talking about this.
Well, that's magnificent, and thank you for sharing that. And that's exactly what happens is, you know, I learned a lot about the application of this with my wild Mustang, Spring Rose, who tried, well, she still does, but she's more comfortable in the human world now, but she would try so hard to comprehend what she thought she was supposed to do in the human world. And it just dawned on me one day that, yeah, she had trauma from being rounded up and all her losses and everything that she went through, but it was also her holding the stress of feeling that she wasn't pleasing us or that she couldn't adapt. And so by letting her, by listening to what she was saying and observing her behavior, and all of that is feeling the energy, right? You're feeling the energy of the mind, body, spirit. And then she would not respond to the word no. She was never going to be told no, because that was a threat to her. And she did not want to be talked down to and say, good girl. Oh, she's nobody's good girl. She's a queen. She's a sovereign being. And so I had to just validate her. I had to validate her, and then everything that she tried, I would gently help her understand or redirect, but through positive, they call it positive reinforcement, but through very subtle positive gestures. And then she started to feel empowered. Then she started to feel like, I think I can actually do this. And she would study the other horses and study like through the gates, like beside us, and just stare at everything we were doing, because she was trying to learn the new world and the new language. And as I mentioned, it dawned on me finally that regular training techniques, it's no wonder no one was able to gentle her. She was deemed dangerous and untrainable, because it's coming from a whole different, to connect with her, it comes from a whole different place of your own state of being and your own state of awareness. And she evolved in her own path, and when I work with human clients, my journey in my own healing, I was guided to Reiki energy healing and macrobiotic healing foods, but that's not everybody's path. And so when I'm coaching clients and they decide to pursue other modalities that may not be in alignment with the principles of how I healed, and then I validate and support them, because that's their path. That's their journey. And we can guide, we can offer counsel and help ignite insight and expand awareness and align vision. And certainly we can recommend specifics when that time comes, right, if somebody asks for it or if a horse is ready for that. But foundationally, to listen, observe, validate, always validate where somebody's at. That's where they're at, and that's their present state, and that's where their power is. And then empower, encourage for horses, reward verbally or, with a little healthy treat or whatever. And for humans to empower and provide positive feedback and remind everybody that you're doing the best that you can and you are going forward. It doesn't matter, as you said, if it's in small steps. Small steps, are the way up the mountain, right? Right. So it's a very subtle, the L.O.V.E. method is a very subtle, powerful foundation for going forward. Now, Spring Rose understands that the word no, if I say no to her gently, she processes it and she goes, okay, that's not a threat, right? I'm not feeling threatened by that. Or if I say, I need a little bit of space. So now her way of communicating that she feels validated by and empowered by is licking us. And so I always tell, anyone that's coming, and they're staying with us in some capacity as a volunteer or as a retreat, that don't pull away from her if she starts licking you, because that makes her feel, I've got this. Right? Like I can do this. I can communicate with humans. And so sometimes when I have to go do stuff in her area and she comes over and she won't stop licking my hands and my legs and my feet and my neck, and then she takes my bandana off and plays my bandana. Sometimes I have to get stuff done. And so after a while I just have to say, okay, that's enough for now. But that was great. So I validated her identity of communicating with me, and then I empowered her and said, that was great. Thank you so much, Spring Rose. Thank you. And she said, yes, that's all right. And then I can say, well, I need a bit of space now because I have to actually take this bale of hay across the barn. So I need a little bit of, and then she goes, oh, you need space. Oh, yes. But for her, at this point in her journey, she needs to be validated that how she is communicating with us, she's doing the right thing, right? And so this is very different from trying to, it never worked for her from the beginning to say, you have to do this my way, right? So it's just a different path, for each beautiful spiritual being, as each human is and as each horse and animal are.
Oh, I so agree with you. And they like handling her in a totally different way, and you having the patience and realizing that her licking was her way of communicating with you and acknowledging that was okay and that it was a good sign, because I love that, because it was her way of showing her love and appreciation to you. And that is so special. That's like one of my horses. He loves to kiss, and he'll put his mouth right up to your face, and he's just so gentle with it. And I know it. I tell people if they're here, he's not going to hurt you. That's his way of showing you that he cares about you. So each one has their different, unique way of showing their love and appreciation to you, and realizing that is what is so beautiful. And people, I feel each one has their own way of letting their light shine and show their appreciation to you, and just acknowledging that's what empowers them, be it a person, be it a animal, whatever it may be. To me, that's what helps empower them, is by reinforcing that, yes, we acknowledge this. We know that this is your way of showing it to us. So, how beautiful.
Well, again, that was phenomenal, Joyce. Thank you for sharing that. And it all, so if we backwards in the steps, talking about feeling empowered by shining our light and feeling worthy and valuable, like how we have value.
Yes.
Then it starts with listening and observing, like feeling the energy, tuning into others without judgment and without preconceived notions. And then we can kind of get a sense that what we need in a relationship, whether it's with humans or horses or animals, it comes second. It comes later, but it's what the other person, who that other person is, and what they can offer, and then we can celebrate that. We can celebrate how they share their gift, what their gifts are, and then we can connect to ourselves and realize, yes, this is a very fulfilling, to be in this relationship, whether, again, it's a personal human relationship, a business, or, colleague relationship, or a relationship with animals, that we're often focused on, even subconsciously, what I need, right? What I want, what I want my horse to do, and I want my horse to be progressing at a certain schedule, whether you ride them or not, we all want them to move forward so that they have a better life, right? And more comfort and happiness. But when we let go of what I want in the short term and listen and observe, or just connect with who they are, then ultimately at the end, it's really exponential growth for everybody. It's actually a fast track up the mountain, and it's much easier and lighter. It's much easier and lighter to kind of float up the mountain. I would say if you have lead weights on, it's hard to get to the top of the mountain, right?
Yes. Oh, I see. Oh, that was just beautifully said, because I see so much of that when you come with those expectations, and say it's with your horse, or maybe it's with your dog. You think you're going to teach it this today, or your expectations are this, and they don't work out that way. The stress levels get high on everyone, the horses, the dogs, the humans. Everyone's stress levels go up. Where if you just take it one step at a time and get that lead out of your shoes and say, okay, we're going to just work on this together. And with the animals, speak to them and ask them what you are thinking, and ask them what they are thinking, or tell them what you are thinking on what you would like, and ask them what their thoughts are. It's just amazing how you can work together. And it's just dancing together is kind of what it is. And you'll be amazed at how quickly you climb that mountain when you just start listening and observing to empower what's inside of them also. Oh, I love that.
Oh, and I love your whole conversation around dancing together, and that I always say, so I give the example of Spring Rose again, whenever she was trying and was frustrated and then would get aggressive because she's a wild horse, right?
Right.
I would always thank her.
Mm-hmm.
I said, thank you for being you. Thank you for our time together. I've learned so much from you, Spring Rose. And I always had gratitude for her being with us, even when she was confused. Yeah. And I didn't reinforce behavior, but I have gratitude for her efforts, right? And I remember early on when she was starting to trust us and would get closer to us, and something happened, I forget, in the barn. I don't know what it was. And I don't know if something spilled, a bucket spilled or something, and we have open concepts, so horses can come and go from their own private barn areas, and so she was in and out, and somehow she just got really upset. She thought that I was mad at her or something, and it was just like a little child who gets really upset that they think their mom is mad at them, and they didn't know what they did. And I immediately recognized it. I listened, I observed, and I immediately stood with her. And I stood with her for about 2 or 3 hours, and we breathed together, and I didn't want that imprint to stay with her. You know, I said, I will never be mad at you. I will never be mad at you for anything that you do. And that changed, that moment changed so much for her, because the fear of not being reprimanded, maybe in the past she had, but the fear of, what if I can never get this? Like, what if I can never, what if I will never be able to adapt to this world? That was really her biggest fear. And it was really a heavy burden for her. So there are many paths up the mountain, and the more gentle and present we are, and as you said, to have patience. And in patience, you do create a fast track at the end. And now, I mean, she's still learning, but I'm learning. You know, I can't imagine being in a world of aliens and not being able to understand how to love them and what they want from me. But she's come, you know, we say she's come a long way, but it's still my perception, right? She's I try to be aware of my language, right, to myself. But she is becoming more and more comfortable being herself in our human world.
Right. She is adapting, and you are adapting too. I can hear that both of you are adapting to each other, and I love that. Oh, it's just beautiful, Lidia. Well, Lidia, I knew this would go so very quickly. I'm like, oh my goodness, it feels like we have just started chatting, and we're coming to the close of our show again. And I would love for you to share with our listeners how they may best connect with you. So when they hear this and go, I want to connect with Lidia Pona, what are some of the best ways to connect with you?
Well, I have my umbrella website, aponahealing.com, and you can join our email list and get our wonderful newsletter and updates of all the different aspects of what we do. And I have my ranch site, aponahealingranch.com, and you can send me an email directly through that site. And then I'm on various social media channels under Epona Healing, my private name, Lidia Kuleshnyk, if anyone, Lady Epona is a lot easier. And I'm most active on my personal Facebook page, Lady Epona, Lidia Kuleshnyk, Kuleshnyk. But I am around on Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn if you wanted to check us out.
Perfect. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. And I have to ask you, Lidia, will you please be a guest again on my Robust Lifestyle show so we can share more about the horses and all the healing that you are doing with humans and animals? I would love for you to share more of your knowledge with our listeners.
Oh, that's very exciting and just a beautiful offer. So, yes, of course, I would love to come back again and continue our beautiful conversations about how we can continue to heal ourselves and grow and evolve and create better lives for ourselves, for those we love, humans and horses and animals. And in so doing, we create an incredible legacy of making this world a better place.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Lidia. And I want to tell you to have an absolutely magical day for yourself and all of your animal families until we connect again on Robust Lifestyles.
Thank you.
Oh, you are so welcome. And I want to thank all of our listeners for listening to this absolutely invigorating show with our absolute amazing diva, Lidia, Lady Epona. Please share this show with all your family and friends. Check out all the hosts and their shows on divasthatcare.com. And remember the love method. Listen, observe, validate, and empower. Connect with our own inner selves and with our animals' inner selves. Come with no judgments and just blossom. Let everyone blossom in their own way to let their light shine. And with that, I want to wish each of you a magical day. Remember, be kind to all. Give your animals a great big extra hug and share your love with them because they so deserve it. And until we connect again on Robust Lifestyles, stay strong and healthy.